I came home for Christmas. The house was quiet and empty, except for Grandma sitting at the table, eating leftovers. A note was on the counter. It said, "Spent your $8,500 loan on a family cruise. Take care of her." Mom. Grandma looked up at me and said, "We'll fix this." I didn't answer, just nodded. For days later, they were all begging for something again, but I didn't knock. It was my parents' house, the one I'd pretty much paid for, and I was supposed to be home for Christmas, like always. But when I opened the door, there was no warmth, no music, no laughter. Just the faint sound of a fork hitting a plate. The Christmas tree lights were on, the cheap plastic star on top blinking like it was sorry. "Hello," I called, stepping inside. "In here, sweetheart," Grandma said, softly, from the kitchen. I turned the corner and saw her sitting alone in her purple sweater, a plate of colton and stuffing in front of her. I blinked. "Where is everyone?" She didn't answer right away. Just gave me a sad smile and slid a piece of paper across the table. Her hand shook. I opened it. It was torn from a notebook. My name was written at the top. "Spent your $8,500 loan on a family cruise. Sorry. Take care of Grandma while we're gone. Love, Mom." I stared at the words. My brain stopped working at loan and cruise. That money was for my dental surgery. I'd worked over a year to save it. Grandma watched me carefully. I guess they didn't think you'd mind," she said quietly, folding a napkin. "They left yesterday." I sat down hard. The chair felt colder than the room. "No warning?" I asked. "No call." She shook her head. "They only call when they want something," she said with a dry laugh. I nodded. My hands were tight fists under the table. None of this was new, just worse this time. Grandma took a small sip of juice, looked me in the eyes, and said, "We'll fix this." I didn't say anything. But inside, something cracked, and something else colder started growing. That night, Grandma went to bed early. She said her hips hurt and she was tired. She kissed my cheek, patted my arm, and whispered, "You always were the kind one." Then she slowly walked away, limping like she had since that fall 2 winters ago. The one no one ever helped her recover from. I sat in the dark for hours. No TV, no lights, just me and that note. $8,500, gone. I work night shifts, drive Uber, skip meals, holidays, weekends, no sleep. Just to save that money, and they used it for a cruise. I checked the family group chat. Nothing, not even a Merry Christmas. The last message from Mom was in November. "Don't forget to transfer the loan to Dad's account. We need to book before prices go up." Loan. They never called it a gift. Because they knew it wasn't. I remembered Mom's woes when she first asked. "It's just a short-term loan. We'll pay you back by February. You can delay your dental thing." And I said yes. Like I always did when they needed help with Jacob's school. I said yes. Dad's gambling debt? Yes. Kelly's rent after she quit her job? Yes again. Because if I didn't help, I was selfish or ungrateful, because family comes first. But they kicked me out at 17 because I wouldn't lie when Jacob stole Grandma's meds. They didn't come to my college graduation, too busy helping Emily move in with her boyfriend. They forgot my birthday 3 years in a row. But when they needed money, suddenly I mattered again. The next morning, I found out the whole truth. They weren't just on any cruise. They were on the Majestic or a luxury ship sailing the Caribbean. 10 days, $3,000 each. Private butler, infinity pool, fancy meals. I know because Emily posted a photo on Instagram. Turns out Emily must have forgotten to block me on Instagram. There they were, all 4 of them in white bathrobes, clinking champagne glasses on the ship. The caption read, "Finally, some peace away from all the leeches and negativity." Leeches. I actually laughed out loud. They took my money, left Grandma alone with cold leftovers, and then called me a leech. That was the moment something in me snapped. I wasn't sad anymore. I wasn't even angry. I was focused. That evening, Grandma found me in the garage, surrounded by old bills and papers. I was digging through Dad's old filing cabinet. She didn't ask questions, just watched as I flipped through years of records. "I need to know everything," I told her. "Where the money went, what they did, who was in on it." She nodded, pulled out an old notebook, and sat down beside me. "Let's start with 2016, she said. That's when your mother first took my pension login. By midnight, we had numbers. By the next day, we had a plan. They came home like royalty, same people who'd left us behind with a note and a fridge full of spoiled food. Their laughter echoed through the house even before the door opened. Emily was first, dragging a designer suitcase, her hair done in perfect braids, nails sparkling. I'm so glad to be back. That last dinner gave me hives. Then came my mom, still wearing sunglasses indoors like she was on a soap opera. Did you even clean up a little? She said, stepping over Grandma's shawl like it was trash. Dad followed, red-faced and bloated from days of cruise buffets. He grunted when he saw me. Oh, you're still here. Jacob came in last, didn't even look at Grandma. Just dropped his bags and collapsed on the couch. I didn't say a word. I was already sitting at the table, calm, hands folded. Where's the food? Mom asked, looking around the kitchen like she still owned it. In the fridge, I said. Plenty of the ham you left. Jacob snorted. Still on that, dude. Just order takeout. It's not like you're broke. I stood up slowly. Glad you're all here. I said, sit down. I've got something to show you. Jacob rolled his eyes but sat. Dad cracked his knuckles. Emily was busy trying to charge her phone. I turned my laptop screen toward them and hit play. Video 1, a spreadsheet. Not just any spreadsheet, one Grandma Ann I had built over for days. Every dollar taken from her pension, every ATM withdrawal from her card. Gas stations Dad always stopped at, every emergency Venmo request from Emily that turned into Sephora and Apple purchases. Where'd you get this? Mom asked, her voice suddenly sharp. From her bank. I said. You should be more careful when using someone else's password. Video 2. Screenshots of transfers, login records from Mom's phone, Dad's betting history, and emails. Mom to Emily. He won't notice the cruise deposit missing. He trusts us too much. Emily's reply. He's a softie. Plus, who leaves Grandma alone on Christmas anyway? I clenched my jaw but kept going. I could stop here, I said. But I won't. One more file. A voice recording. Kelly Jacob's wife standing on the porch 2 nights ago, crying. I didn't want to go. I begged him, but Jacob said, if you didn't give the money, they'd just leave her and deal with it later. I only stayed quiet because he said it'd blow over. I'm sorry, I can't do it anymore. Jacob jumped up. You recorded my wife. That's illegal. No. I said calmly. She asked me too. She said she was tired of lying for you. Tired of watching you bleed people dry. Dad stood too, his face red. You little snake. You've been digging into our accounts like someone who's done being robbed, I said, cutting him off. Then I opened one last tab, a draft email, subject, formal report of elder financial abuse attachments, all the evidence, dank records, screenshots, the voice recording. Recipients, Social Security Fraud Division, Grandma's attorney, the county ombudsman to local news outlets. You have 48 hours, I said, voice steady, to return every penny. Or I send all of it. Emily's hands were shaking. You're bluffing. You wouldn't ruin your own family. No, I said. You ruined this family. I'm just sending the bill. Grandma stood up. She hadn't spoken a word the whole time. She walked to the head of the table, placed a hand on the back of a chair, and looked at each of them. I raised 3 of you, fed you, changed you, protected you. And when I couldn't even walk, you left me with frozen beans and moldy pie, while you sipped champagne on stolen money. You're lucky it's him coming after you. Because if it were just me, she didn't finish the sentence. She didn't have to. The room went silent. Dad muttered something and stormed out. Emily cried and tried to hug Grandma. Grandma turned away. Jacob just stared at me with hate in his eyes. You're not family anymore, he said. I smiled. No. I'm finally free. They didn't believe I'd go through with it. Even after I laid everything out, even after Grandma looked at them with that quiet, old kind of fury. They still thought they could wear me down, but the version of me who stayed quiet, who nodded and paid and said thank you for crumbs, that version died when they used $8,500, my savings, on pina coladas and shrimp buffets. Day 1. Nothing. Not a single word. No apologies. No messages. Just Grandma and me, eating oatmeal in silence and checking the bank account. Day 2. I sent the email. Every file, every screenshot, every voice memo. Filed with the state authorities, CCD2 newsrooms within a 100-mile radius. At 6:13 p.m., I got a reply. Thank you for your submission. A case has been opened. Day 3. It exploded. Jacob was the first to panic. I woke up to 12 missed calls and texts like, "We didn't mean it like that. You're really going to destroy your own family over some money." Then came Mom. Classic manipulation. "You're being emotional. Please take the post down. We'll talk." I didn't reply. I forwarded every message to Natalie, my attorney. She and Grandma's legal advisor had been working together since the night I recorded Kelly's confession. By noon, Natalie sent official letters of intent to sue. Recipients, my parents. Jacob, Emily. The charges, elder financial abuse, unauthorized access to retirement funds, misuse of family loans. Total load with interest and damages, $14,322.85. That night, Mom showed up at the door. She looked exhausted, no makeup, hair pinned back messily. "Can we talk?" she asked, voice shaking. I crossed my arms. "Only if you brought a checkbook." She reached into her bag and pulled out an envelope. Inside, a cashier's check for $8,500, my loan. "No interest?" I asked. "You're lucky to get this," she snapped. "You're destroying us with this mess you made. You're turning your back on your own mother." "No," I said, stepping outside and closing the door behind me. "I'm finally turning my back on a thief." Later that week, Emily called from her work phone. She was crying. The story had gone viral. Title: Family steals disabled grandmother's pension, abandons her at Christmas. Grandson fights back, 42,000 shares overnight. Her job, a boutique marketing firm, did not appreciate the press. Her name was in every screenshot. The champagne photo caption about leeches and negativity had become a meme. "I'm getting fired," she sobbed. "Do you even know what you've done?" "Yeah," I said. "Return the favor. Now pay your share." She did over for installments. I made her send proof each time. No shortcuts. Jacob was the last to crack. At first, he acted like it didn't matter. "My boss doesn't care," he bragged online. "It's all fake anyway." Then Kelly left him. She filed for separation. Told him she wouldn't raise her kids in a house full of lies. She called me that same day. "I'm sorry it took me this long," she said softly. "But I've seen who he really is now." I asked her if she needed help finding a place. She paused, then said quietly, "Only if it comes with no strings attached." I smiled. "Then yes, because you did the right thing." 2 days later, Jacob showed up at my door, unshaven, tired, furious. "You fool," he hissed. "You ruined everything." "No," I said, handing him a legal letter. "You did." Natalie had just filed a motion for garnishment of his wages. He tried to tear the letter in half and throw it back at me. I didn't flinch. "Pay every penny," I said, "or we freeze your accounts." "I'm not bluffing, ask him." By the end of the second week, the money was back. $8,500 from Mom and Dad. $3,100 from Emily, interest included. $2,700 from Jacob after a humiliating loan from his own boss. Total: $14,300 and change. I used $3,000 to finally get my dental surgery. $2,000 for a proper lift chair and a home nurse for Grandma. The rest went into a locked, interest-bearing account, in her name, accessible only by the two of us. When I showed her the paperwork, she cried. "They took everything from me," she whispered. "But they didn't take you." And just like that, I had won. Not just the money, not just the legal war. I had won myself back, the weight I carried for years, the guilt, the obligation, the quiet shame of being less loved. It all fell off like an old coat. And for the first time in a long time, I stood up straighter. They stopped calling. And you know what? It felt good. Silence, for the first time, had a pulse. Not the panicked silence of guilt. Not the heavy silence of shame, but a clean silence. The kind that comes after you cut out something rotten. The money was back. The house was quiet. Grandma was sleeping through the night again. No more waking up in fear that someone would break in to steal what little she had left. And me, I was becoming someone they couldn't control. In the weeks that follow, I didn't just collect debts. I collected my life. I quit the job that drained me, took a remote contract that paid more and gave me my time back. I took Grandma to her favorite place, a dusty old diner with checkerboard floors and the worst coffee in the state. She laughed more in that 1 hour than I'd seen in 5 years. "I miss this," she said, dipping her fries in her milkshake. "You mean your arteries miss this?" I teased. She shrugged. "I'd rather die laughing with you than choking on cruise shrimp with those snakes." Fair. But even peace has its ghosts. They didn't call, but they talked. Emily posted a vague status. "Some people don't understand what forgiveness means," paired it with a photo of her lighting a candle at church. Mom told distant relatives had manipulated Grandma. She left out the part where she used Grandma's pension to pay off her plastic surgery debt. And Jacob, he went full delusional, posted a reel about toxic siblings using an audio clip from Succession, acting like he was the betrayer of a broken empire. Caption: "Some people would rather see you fall than rise with you." I laughed for 10 minutes straight. Rise with you. You tried to burn me alive and dance in the ashes. They wanted to rewrite the story. But I had the receipts, and I wasn't going back into the shadows. The turning point came 3 weeks later. I was at the grocery store with Grandma. We were pushing a cart, filling it with soup cans and ginger ale, when a woman approached us, older, elegant, clearly familiar. She looked at me and asked, "I'm sorry. Are you the one from the article?" I tensed. She smiled. "The one who saved his grandmother." I blinked. I guess. Yeah. She looked at Grandma, then back at me. "I just wanted to say thank you for standing up, for not staying quiet." My mother. They did the same to her, but no one fought for her. "I wish someone had." She touched my arm soft, brief, then walked away. I turned to Grandma. She was frozen, hand on a soup can, tears welling in her eyes. "I didn't think anyone saw us," she whispered. "They do now," I said. And that's when I realized this wasn't just about money, or revenge, or proving anything. I wasn't a loser. This wasn't about revenge. This was about telling the truth out loud finally. And the best part, I was done explaining myself. I didn't need to scream anymore. The truth had already made its way into the world, dragging their names behind it like a bag of trash, spilling open across the pavement. Every time they posted, people remembered. Every time they lie, someone in the comments reminded them who they really were. Mom tried to rebuild her image. She launched a YouTube cooking channel, Cozy Kitchen with Carla, but in the very first episode, someone commented, "Did you pay for that oven with stolen retirement funds?" She deleted the channel in 2 days. Jacob tried getting a new job. Didn't make it past the background check, apparently. Garnishment orders scare companies off. Oops, Emily vanished for a while. Then resurfaced under new Instagram handle, m_Liferset. She posted yoga pics, inspirational quotes, claimed she was cutting out toxic people. Hilarious, because I didn't cut her out. I exiled her. Months passed. I moved into a new apartment. Quiet, clean, filled with second-hand furniture I chose. Nothing they picked, nothing they touched. I brought Grandma with me. 1 bedroom for her, 1 for me. She decorated hers with old photos and a blanket she crocheted in 1993. She called it the fort. One evening, she knocked on my door. "I have a question," she said, sitting down slowly on the bed. "When you saw that note, the one they left, why didn't you just leave? Why do you stay?" I thought for a moment. Then I said, "Because I remembered who I was, before they made me forget." She looked at me a long time, then nodded. "I'm proud of you, sweetheart." And that broke me. More than any insult they ever screamed. Because she meant it. And because no one else in that family ever did. Weeks later, I ran into Kelly outside a coffee shop. She looked healthier, lighter, happier. She told me she was taking night classes, working toward certification, trying to build something of her own. "I didn't know I could live like this," she said, "without being afraid of what he'd do next. You gave me that." I didn't know what to say. She stepped closer. "You changed more than just your life, you know." I nodded quietly, and maybe, for the first time, I believed it. "So here it is, my ending. You want to know what happened to the family? They destroyed their own name trying to bury mine. You want to know what happened to me? I stopped waiting for them to call me family and started building one with the people who never made me beg for love. And now I sleep peacefully with all the lights off because I'm no longer afraid of what they'll take next. They already took everything, and I took it back.